Okay, guys, we are going to be talking about slope now. This one lesson is actually going to correspond over probably the next 3 or 4 activities. So it's really, really important. All right. So in class, we're actually going to be doing a foldable that is going to have a round circle in the middle of this. But for the note's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of work it out through here. So right here, we have our little triangle, okay? And this is where we're going to kind of define our slopes. So right here for this slope, this is Kyle. Everybody say hi to Kyle. Okay, I hope you're waving as you're watching this video. And Kyle is who helps us read slopes. So Kyle always comes running in from the left. On this one, he's going up. His bank account is going up. So that is positive, and Kyle is happy because money is in the bank. Yeah. Excuse me. But then over here, Kyle just made a trip to Walmart. He's all sad. That's negative. Bank account is going down. Or maybe that's just Mr. Richardson. Every time I go into Walmart, my bank account goes down. Okay. So then right here at the bottom, we have this just straight across slope. It's not really doing anything. You're just traveling back and forth. And this is where Kyle is bored. There ain't nothing going on. And this is our zero slope. And it is always y equals a number because it crosses over the y axis. It has a y intercept. So he just bored. It ain't nothing. And then we have the big one. So now we have this one over here, which is a common mistake. So Kyle comes running in. He trips on this line. He is impaled and he dies. Kyle dies. It's so sad. It's so tragic. Kyle dies. So this is no slope we want any part of. This is undefined. We have killed Kyle, and it is x equals a number. Okay, so the equation is always x equals a number. So undefined, it's kind of like a little bit graphic, but it's to help y'all remember that undefined, no slope you want any part of. It's undefined. And you'll notice that this kind of makes the right-hand side of the U shape, whereas down here, it made the top line of the 0 for the Z, that little crossbar right there, okay? So just something to kind of remember, just kind of a way I like to display it for y'all. All right. So over here, what we're going to be working on first when we look at this is finding slope from a graph, okay? We're going to do graph, we're going to do table, we're going to do equations, we're going to do all kinds of stuff. So the first thing I want to do over here is I want to find my slope from the graph. And slope is m equals y, which is up and down over sideways, okay? The other thing a lot of us like to call this is rise over run. And I'm okay, whichever way you need to do it. So the first thing I always like to remind you guys, the point is x comma y. So it's sideways, then up and down. So anytime you guys are graphing, I expect to see these two things on your paper because they kind of work in the opposite way. So it's important to remember. So let's look first. First, I need to find 2 points that are exact. So I have one right here at 0, 0. And then I'm going to go up and I see another exact one. Is that one right there? It looks like it right there. Now it's going to be where they exactly cross at a hash, at a dot, okay? So you're looking for where it crosses right through there, okay? Not above it, not below it. So Kyle comes running in from this way. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, it's a line. And he gets to this point. Tell me what he does to get from this point to get to this point. He goes up 1, 2, 3. He goes up 3. So that's a positive 3. Then he goes over 2. So my rise over run is 3 over 2. That is my slope. Now, I always square slope. I'm going to write it several times just so you guys have it there. My m equals 3 over 2. Okay. I always square the slope because that's going to come back down to our equation. So what I'd like to do now is we're going to skip to another flap in school. In school, when we're in the classroom, we're going to have a different flap. So right down here, we have the equation. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. So what we just talked about was the m, was the slope. And this is Kyle. This is how he moves on the graph. Okay, it is our slope. and it's an M. So it is how we move. Look at that M right there. It's move. It's the move part of it. Okay. The other important thing to remember is that it is always, and this is an always, we don't have a lot of those in life. It is always in front of X. It's always in front of X. So notice I'm actually having you write these things. I'm writing them because I want you to remember. It's really important to remember. And what we mean by always in front of X is it's always going to be the number in front of X. And so it's the coefficient of X. It's always the coefficient of X, the number in front of X, okay? Then we come over here and we have our little friend over here. We have our B. Now notice I also circle the plus sign. I circle the plus sign because that's part of it. And B is where we begin on the y-axis. It's where we begin on the y-axis. It is our y-intercept. So I always have you guys tell me which one is the y-axis, which one is the y-axis. It's the up and down axis. I'll have you guys raise your hand like every time and show you, okay? It's where it crosses the y-axis, excuse me. And it is always 0, comma, whatever that B value is. That's how you write the point. It is 0, comma, B. So we're going to do the table one on another day because we're going to do that one as another example. So what we're going to do now is for your first set of notes, you are going to go down and you are going to do number 2 and number 3. Okay, so let's look at number 2 and number 3. We know that we have to find the slope of these two lines. So the first thing I know is Kyle always comes running in from the left. And what 2 points does he see first? Well, I always kind of look at my y-intercept, see if I see a point there, and I don't. So I'm just going to go along to the right. I see a point there, and then I see a point up here. And we'll be going over this in class as well if you're having a tough time with it. So Kyle comes running in, and he gets to this point first. Woohoo! And now how does he get from this point to this point? Remember, I don't have it written over here. It is always y over x. It is up and down over sideways. So Kyle's going to go up how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes up 4. And then he's going to go over 1, 2, 3. So those are both positives because up is a positive and down is a positive. So your slope is 4 over 3. That's it. We're just counting from the graph. Now, a lot of students kind of have a tough time finding out like where those 2 points are defined, and it's just kind of a skill we're going to develop as we go along. We're going to continue to practice it. So let's look at this one. I always look at my y-axis. I don't see anything there, so I do see one up here. But then a lot of times the kids will go, oh, I see one there, and I see one here. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Even if you count between this dot and this dot, it'll still reduce to the same one. So if y'all recall, Kyle comes running in from this way and uh-oh, bank account's losing money. He's sad. But I'm going to find out how Kyle gets from this point to this point. So he goes down 1, 2, 3. Down 3 would be a -3. And he goes over 2. So -3 over 2. I did not write my y over x because I have it written right there on the paper. As a reminder. Okay? So now I'm going to go back and kind of do the other 2 lessons. So right here we have find the slope from 2 points. And it says to use the formula. And on the background at the top up here, I have the formula written for you. Now, Miss Richardson tends not to use the formula. The formula does tend to cause a lot of mistakes because it has that negative in there and we seem to get a little overwhelmed with it. But that's okay because we are going to use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the formula right here. And I would like y'all to write it out as well. Now, this little 1 and 2 are just names. They're just subscripts, okay? They're just subscripts. So now we're actually going to go and we're going to plug our points in. So I'm going to come up here, and when I have 2 points like this, I automatically label them. This is point number 1. So that's the x1, y1, point 1, and this is the x and y of point 2. That's all that means. It doesn't matter which way you label which one. If you put the X and Y over here, the X and Y over there, which means I better also put this, that X is this one and Y is this one. We all mix it up and that's okay, guys. It's a really common error, okay? So I'm going to start plugging it in. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say Y of 2, which is negative 10, minus. Now, where did this minus come from? This minus came from the formula. Do y'all see that? I didn't look at anything else. I just looked at that. Now I need to plug in my Y of 1, which is negative 4. You might see that's where kind of a lot of mistakes come in. So then it wants us to plug in X of 2, which is negative 12, minus, where did that minus come from? That minus came from the formula, okay? X of 1, which is negative 20. So that's a lot of negatives to deal with there. And I just think it becomes a little overwhelming sometimes. So now let's fix it. I know that minus the negative becomes a positive. So negative 10 plus 4 is a negative 6. Then I'll have negative 12 and 2 minus the negative becomes a plus, and that's going to give me a positive 8. Okay. When I reduce this fraction in the calculator, I get negative 3 over 4. Okay. So you do want to reduce your fractions, but if you count down 6 over 8, that is okay. But the answer options always have negative 3 over 4. So what we're going to do now is the method that I prefer. And this is the method I call the T-chart method. It's basically turning it into kind of a table. So you have an XY table, and you already have your points, X, comma, Y. So you're going to label them. X goes in the left, Y goes in the right. So be really careful. Notice this is left, this is right. This is left, this is right, okay? And now I have to figure out, I'm going to do the math on it. And the math is a little bit different on this one. I need to figure out how do I get from negative 4 to negative 10. Now you'll notice I did the Y first. Why did I do the Y first? Because the Y is on top. Slope. The Y is on top. So from negative 4 to 10, I go down 6. Okay? Then how do I get from negative 20 to negative 12? Well, if you think about a diver, diver's down here at negative 20, he actually goes up to negative 12. So he actually goes up 8. Look, guys, it's the exact same thing, okay? The other thing you can do on this one right here is do bottom minus top number, and that'll give you the difference as well, okay? So this is kind of our next practice session, okay? This is what we're going to do the second day is the from 2 points. So that's going to be basically your 3.4. See that? Or whatever it might be in the future. So now I'm going to go back over here and I have my 3.3 notes. And now we're going to go and we're going to do this table problem. So this is part of our round foldable. We're going to come up here and we're going to do the table problem. Okay. So the tables are going to end up being your next activity day. So we're really going to break it down and really practice it because it's super important concept. And I want to make sure y'all have plenty of time to practice each one. This is the one you will likely see most often on the STAR. So if you guys are retesters, this is it for you. This is what you want to listen to. So again, it's the change in Y over the change in X. So it's Y over X. So I'm going to do the Y side first. And I'm going to say, how do I get from 0 to 10? From 0 to 10, I add 10. How do I get from 10 to 20? I add 10. How do I get from 30 to 20? I add 10. If you're not sure, you're going to do the bottom number minus the top number, and that will also give you a difference. So 30 minus 20 would give you 10. Now I'm going to go over here to the left. Okay, so I see that these are all 10, so that means my rise or my top number is 10. Okay, now how do I get from 0 to 2? 0 to 2 is up 2, then 2 to 4 is up 2, then 4 to 6 is also up 2. So all of these match. If I'm not sure, I could just do bottom 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay, so that's 10 over 2, which reduces to 5 over 1. 5 over 1. So when you guys get to the point where actually graphing them, I like y'all to label this. So this is rise over 1. A positive 5 means you would go up 5 over 1. And I do think it's really important to draw those arrows on there when you're graphing and to understand what the movement is. So I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to do that on these as well. What does that mean I did on this one? On this one, that means that Kyle went up 4 and he went over 3. On this one, he went down 3 and he went over 2. On both of these, he went down 3 over 4. Okay, so Yes, you have to draw the arrows. The arrows are a key process of this. And again, the table one, you'll notice from this number to this number, top bottom, it's just the same as 2 points, guys. Okay, so it's just kind of a different way to do it. That's it.